Well, hello friends, I am back and I think, fingers crossed, we are going to do a Q&A video, Tobin and I. I tried to film this about a week or so ago. I just couldn't do it. So today I thought I would try to film it while just kind of moving around daily life. Many times when I film Q&As, like I'm sitting in the same spot for an hour or two or three or four. So that's not really practical for me right now. I can answer various questions just as I'm able. And that way you won't also be looking at, you know, the same background the whole time. Give you a few different things to see. Just thought it might be fun to kind of have a, what we call it, an on-the-go Q&A and on the move. I mean, Tobin he's doing what Tobin does. He is nursed and he is sleeping. Also, Travis just brought me some mail, some things I ordered from Amazon, so I was gonna show you those real quick too. This first thing is such a large family life thing, and I was joking with Naomi the other day. I said, if I just go ahead and order these, we're gonna have them in like a day or two, and it's gonna be so much quicker than waiting for me to go to the store. So 16 forks. We are down now, who knows, the vortex, who knows where the forks have gone. We are down now, I think we have 7 forks, and then we have a couple little plastic forks for, like, you know, little kids. Let's see if I have an example. Oh, I don't even have them in here right now, but there's a pink one that Benjamin calls his salmon fork.
So it's not pink, it's salmon.
It's not pink, it's salmon. And then we have a yellow one, a green one. Anyway, so I ordered us some forks because we have enough spoons, but these, I tell you, we just needed them. So there you go, on Amazon. Will I get the link actually posted below? I don't know, but if you just go to Amazon and search forks, you're gonna see lots of options. I want to say I paid $11 for 16 of them, so that was thrilling. Okay, and then we've got some new summer flags. This was technically an Easter flag, and I've had it sitting in my cart. It is so cute. Chicken life. Look at this, ladies. Hanging with my peeps. See, the girls are at the table finishing up some schoolwork, so that's where I'm like, I'm showing them, I'm showing you, but isn't that precious? Hanging with my peeps. So I just thought, I don't know, where should we hang? We'll have to pick a cute spot outside, but super cute, and it's the same on both. And then, so it has felt like a really hard commitment to pick a summer flag, because we've got our Easter flag, we've got like the Jesus cross flag. And then I have a daffodil flag, but we're past daffodil time. It's gonna be May, maybe even by the time you see this video, but before we know it. So what's a good summer flag? Okay, so somehow that was way harder for me than it needed to be. But I just wanted something that, I don't know, if it hangs all summer and I never change it, it would get us through the whole season. Or sometimes I'm changing flags every week. But look at this. My in-house ladies and my YouTube folks. So isn't that pretty? And so I wanted something that was whimsical, which just means kind of fun and poetic and makes you want to twirl, a little twirly. So I thought, and I was even searching whimsical summer flags. But anyway, so we got the monarchs, and that's certainly good for summer. So yay. Happy mail from my Amazon orders. Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code LFTable12 to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. Click the first link in the description below. Okay, we're outside, we're doing it. We're on the go, Tobin. This is our on the go Q&A. You're doing so well already. I was just thinking, okay, so to juggle a few things. I put my camera bag in there, got my phone over here. I took many questions. During my 3rd trimester when I was pregnant with him, I was so gonna do a 3rd trimester Q&A. I might be able to get into some of those. And then a few weeks ago, I asked for more questions on Instagram about whatever, about super mega cooking, homeschooling, family, motherhood, homesteading. I'm like, all the things. So I do have a variety of questions. So Alicia asked on Instagram, how long do you take for maternity leave? So how long do I take for maternity leave? Well, always, forever, for decades now. In my pregnancies, and no different with Tobin, by the 3rd trimester, I'm like, I'm on leave, whatever that means. In normal family life, in daily life, I'm slow. Everybody knows that mama's slow. Folks get me a chair to put my feet up on. I'm going to bed early. I'm sleeping in a little later. Taking a nap in the afternoon some days when I need that. 1st trimester, I just take a nap every day. But by the 3rd trimester, not every day, but if I need it, I just lay there on my couch, take my nap. Then after I have the baby, definitely the first week or 2, still in slow motion. I am, let's see, Tobin just passed the 4-week mark, and I feel like even this Q&A video as an example, you know, I mentioned I tried to film this over a week ago. Tobin and I sat down, Travis had the kids doing other things outside, we were set up with the tripod, I started going through the questions, and after just, I don't know, after a period of time I was like, I can't do this right now. And that's okay. So I packed it up and I said, I'm just not doing that Q&A video right now. So as part of being gentle on myself in general, if something feels too hard, I don't have to do it necessarily, you know, depending on what it is. But especially as far as like, if we're going to talk about maternity leave from online stuff, you all know for the last many months, I mean, even before the holidays, I was slowing down, taking it slow, and I did that because that was what was best for me and what was best for Tobin. I end up taking several months at a much different pace than I'm normally full steam ahead at. And I listen to my body and I listen to my mind. I listen to, you know, all the different factors, all the ways that you can get signs that you are tired, that your body needs more rest, that you're physically burnt out, mentally burned out, you know, even when you're postpartum or when you're in the end of your pregnancy and you're so tired, all you could do is sit there, your body is still being productive. Or if you're mentally tired, I know when I'm pregnant, something that's different now, you know, that last trimester, I would get up in the morning and I would have to sit for quite a while. I would do my whiteboard sitting if I was drinking coffee or tea or whatever my morning beverage would be. But I mean, I was sitting there a while. I can't even give you a firm time, but I mean, not just 20 minutes or 30 minutes, probably an hour or 2. But I can be an awesome couch coach. And so kids could get up, I could give direction. Of course, we have our routines. And so even if mama is slow, doesn't mean everybody else has to be slow during that time. Anyway, I've been gentle on myself for months. I've been on leave for quite a bit. And now that Tobin is 4 weeks old, I think in the past week, and this gets back to like online work type things, if I get this video filmed in the next day or 2, I will have done 3 videos. Now for the month of April, there's only 1 official video up. They might go through editing and approval processes and get uploaded and posted before April's done, but you might be seeing these in May, and that's okay. Just meaning I'm slowly, you know, and then always my Nemo quote, you think you can do these things, Nemo, but you just can't. So in my head, I think, okay, I'm gonna do this Q&A video, and then I get doing it and I'm like, I'm not in the space to do this right now, and being okay to say no, right? Okay, next question. Hannah asked, do you like where you live, the state and the area? We love Virginia. I'm 41. I've only ever lived in Virginia. Now, I've traveled around to many states around the country. I've seen lots of great places, but Virginia's home. This is all we know. Now, we've lived in, Virginia is very dynamic as far as, you know, we have Northern Virginia, which is the metro area right outside of DC. We have cities, we have beach areas, coastal areas, we have mountain areas. And I don't know if you can see, obviously, where we live. Do you see those mountains? There's a hill there, but then there's also the Blue Ridge Mountains. I think you're seeing some of them. So it's not like Utah, where anytime I go to Utah, I'm like, man, those are mountains, right? Travis and I have lived the longest in Virginia, and in this particular part of Virginia. We've lived around and, you know, gone to college, other areas, and grew up at different spots and such, but this is our longest location. So, Lord willing, we will stay here, but you don't always know what's going to happen in life, what's coming up next. So, this is where we are. We do love our area, and we love where our house is. We love the location. It checks so many boxes and is so much of our hopes and dreams. So it's wonderful how the Lord has brought all that together for us in this particular property. Another friend asked, "Hi Tobin, does your family ever call you Toby, or do you prefer they stick with Tobin?" So that's a cute question. So some of us have been saying Toby Joby. Amelia started it. It's cute, and we're not gonna call you Toby Joby, but that is one of the little names that when she's snuggling him or whatever, she'll say, "Oh, little Toby Joby." We do call him Tobin or Tobin Josiah, and sometimes I call him Benjamin. Just like with Benjamin, sometimes at first I would call him Daniel. So, because that's the youngest boy's name on there. So I purposely find myself often calling him Tobin Josiah, saying the whole name. So anyway, we're calling him Tobin, but Amelia's got a cute little name that she's calling him too. Do you plan on having more children in the future, or is Tobin your last? If Tobin would be our last, we're thankful for him, of course. I'm enjoying the experience. I just got done with a dissertation on how I'm taking it slow and letting things not be a pressure and those kind of aspects. If I'm able to have more children, that will be a blessing as well. As I've shared before, I will link my other Q&A videos in the description of this video. We're going to do it. Tobin's going to remind me. I have answered this question multiple ways through the years, right? But we will just gladly take whatever children that we get. This is Tobin. Is he our last? I don't know. I'm all for all kinds of adventure. Also, when do you start adding some preschool stuff for homeschool? So very gently for most kiddos, later in 3, 4, definitely by 4. It just depends on the kid, right? Depends on the interest. You have some kids that like to sit with paper and do things. You have other kids that like more hands-on experiences. You have different dynamics, different seasons. You know, it only happened once, but I had one child who taught himself to read at 3. And then I've had other children who've been at different spots along the reading timeline and age map, right? But preschool stuff, definitely by 4. Also at 3, depending on the kid and the situation. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Cooking with mommy. A bucket of beans, you know, tactile things, a tray with rice, lots of Play-Doh. We do lots of Play-Doh, and we do lots of outside time. So that's all of life, right? So it's hard to pin an age on that, but definitely leaning more preschoolish by 4. Another question, what is bringing you the most joy today? That's a wonderful question. This is going to be the last one at this location because I got something else happening, and we'll see where I end up. Where's Waldo? Where's Jamerrill? Where am I going to be answering questions next? The Lord always brings me a ton of joy, and I am hopeful about new opportunities and fun things coming up for our family, and I just have the joy of the Lord in my heart, and that takes me throughout the day. And I'm enjoying answering these questions, so that's joyful too. So now I'm going to go do my next thing, which could be 5 minutes or 5 hours. Again, will I get back on today? I think it's going to be fun to see. Okay, walking up the hill, I thought maybe I can get another one in. Do you hold back talking about your religious views to keep your audience happy? Well, I don't think so. A lot of times we're shopping, we're doing spaghetti sauce. You know I love Jesus. I could talk about Jesus anytime, any day. I don't purposely hold that back. It just has to come out, right? And if we're making breakfast freezer meals, I think, you know, my favorite Bible verses may not come out, but I do think when people say they enjoy listening to my channel, they enjoy listening to my voice, they enjoy my content in general, I do think that very well is and can be the Lord pulling people in, and hopefully the light and love of Jesus shining through your TV. That's all I got. I'm not a TV preacher, but I do love me some Jesus, so there we go. So here we are, another wonderful HelloFresh meal cooking time. Now, yes, I am doing another cool cheeseburger recipe that they have, and fantastic potatoes. Some of the kids were like, we have cheeseburgers all the time from HelloFresh, but every time they're different. And that's true, because HelloFresh actually has a variety of cheeseburger recipes, and we have tried many of them. This one involved a fantastic homemade chipotle sauce using mayonnaise and then the chipotle seasonings that HelloFresh included. Also, some sauteed onions and barbecue sauce. It was just layers upon layers, as you will see as I try to eat this big burger later. It was fantastic. So we are not complaining. We also, several of my kids, as I share with you, they say HelloFresh is our fancy food. Be sure to click the first link in the description below, go to HelloFresh.com and use code LFTable12 to get 12 free meals including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com and code LFTable12 to get 12 free meals including free shipping. HelloFresh has more 5-star recipes than any other meal kit, so you know you'll get something delicious. Look out for many more quick and easy meal solutions like oven ready and 10 to 20 minute meals. With HelloFresh, you can easily change your delivery dates or food preferences and skip a week whenever you need. So we got some truck noise going on for another thing happening. Liam came to sit by me, and he's holding Tobin while I got my tripod set up. Look at this. Teamwork making the dream work. Yay. Another question, how is Tobin doing with sleeping? So Tobin sleeps fantastic. All of my babies have slept fantastic. This does not work for everyone, but what has always worked for me is I breastfeed, and I breastfeed on demand, and I co-sleep, and Mama gets sleep, and they get sleep, and they get to eat, and then they sleep, and we're just all right there together. So that's what works for me, and that's what helps me in my personal journey of bouncing back postpartum, is the fact that I do get sleep. Now, of course, there's, teething times and growth spurts and cluster nursing and different events that happen that certainly make the night longer and may mean that we sleep in that night, or I'm going to bed earlier the next day, or taking a nap the next afternoon. But overall, generally, we get good sleep around here. So, homesteading farming question, when do farm chores get done with the homeschool and the new baby? And I have that question in various ways. And of course, I always say it's hard to show and tell it all. But in our lifestyle, in our daily routines, how we get a rolling in the day, the kids get up and then it's farm chore time. Once we are up and rolling in the morning, it's either that farm chores get done before breakfast, and then it's time to come inside, get cleaned up, get freshened up for the day, and then have breakfast. Or it just depends on what that day has in store for us. We may have breakfast first and not be ready, still be in pajamas or whatever we're in that morning. And sometimes for kids it might be like shorts and a t-shirt, whatever. So we're wearing what we're wearing in the morning. We are not ready for the day. We go ahead and do breakfast first, and then we do farm chores, and then it's get ready for the day. More often it is that we're up, we're going, do the farm chores, then come in, get ready for the day, get all fresh. Because when you're dealing with chickens and such, you don't want to get ready for the day and then go do a bunch of farm chores, right? So you know, for me, I could be in my pajama pants and a t-shirt or whatever, and, you know, have my head wrap on or something. You know, that's pretty standard. For kids, it could be shorts or pajama bottoms, t-shirt or sweatshirt or jacket or old jeans that they pull on in the morning. It's not the fresh go about your day clothes. Our farm chores are heaviest in the morning. In the morning we are doing everything fresh, you know, bales of hay and water and feeding everybody and getting everybody set up for the day. Not that those things won't be done in the evening, but it's not as heavy. Chickens, for instance, most days they're out much of the time. It's not every day that they are left in their yard in their run. It just, again, my whiteboard dictates the day, and every day has its own swing, can be a little different. We have never been, and that's fence posts going in, you hear that hammering in the background. We have never been able to have a rigid schedule or plan where, like, what happens on Monday is always what happens on Monday, and where each day is the exact same things at the exact same time. I hear people have those kind of schedules. I've never experienced it. We have what I call routines, and those are also flexible, as in my example of, will we have breakfast before or after the animals? Well, that depends on a couple different things, such as, are we having a leftover breakfast casserole, or do I have stuff that needs to get in the oven anyway for breakfast? Is it going to be an easy breezy morning where the kids are doing cereal and some fruit? Are we going to do a couple dozen eggs and it's going to require more time? Or do we want to do the eggs in the basket with bacon, and so the bacon's got to be in the oven anyway? Hey, while that's in the oven, we could go do the farm chores, get cleaned up, and then do, you know, crumble our bacon and do the holes in the bread and get the griddles out and all that. Again, depends on the day. Also, appointments, life, friends coming over, places that we're going, things along those lines, family events and things happening. You know, what does the day hold? And that depends on how we get our day rolling, right? So with that question, when do farm chores get done with the homeschool and the new baby? The baby nurses about every 2 hours or so. I mean, sometimes it's sooner, sometimes it's a little longer. So that means if he's nursed a lot in the night, and then usually the first thing we do in the morning, we nurse heavy in the morning. You know, the little vibrating chairs that are on the floor. He really likes his chair. Of course, my husband is home. And right now he's got Benjamin on his scooter and they're riding around the property. So I have another adult at home and extra hands and such for that. And another question is, by the same person, what does a homeschool routine day look like step by step? So hard to get all the step by steps in, but as far as how our days tend to roll, once breakfast is done and Bible time, and that also is not super scheduled and rigid. We just read through the Bible. So like right now we're reading through Luke, and everybody takes a turn, and sometimes we talk about it, sometimes we just read. Many times we will pray for friends and family in different situations when we're done, but again, not a hard pressing thing, more of a lifestyle. So then after our morning time of, again, the animals getting ready, breakfast, then we do some chores when we get up, but after breakfast it's a natural time to do more table chores. You know, we clean up from breakfast, clean up from making breakfast, clean up the pans, or if it was a freezer meal, you know, get everything into the sink. And so then that's a natural time. You know, my dishes from the videos, you know, many times it could be that someone is doing the dishes, and then we shuffle laundry throughout the day depending on how many baskets we have on that day. Like if there's 2 baskets there looking at me, also depending on where we're falling time wise, I could have 2 people take 1 basket. Some mornings, if there's 6 baskets looking at us, which you know in your real life household, I mean, depending on bedding and towels and all the things, and maybe if we weren't able to get to a lot of folding and putting away the day before, it could easily be 6 baskets. And in a large family household, there's a lot of laundry, but there's a lot of help, and so that also gets down to everybody taking 1 basket, processing it, putting it away. Younger kids have things that they work on together or that they're learning. but we've got a lot of laundry helpers, right? And then it's rolling into school time, and then we do school for several hours. The read aloud time, we're still getting back in our routine with that. So right now with new baby, we've been focused on making sure that core subjects are done every day, and then some days I don't get to read to them. Doesn't mean they didn't read their own chapter books. Sometimes I'm reading to them in the evenings. Some days I do it before they get their subjects out, when we get our jobs done after breakfast, before we get the whole table full of school stuff. Then I will read to them. And in my heart of hearts, I love to read for hours, but I'm trying to be okay with right now, even if it is only 30 minutes. And you know, it might only be 2 chapters, and really I'm like, I want to read for hours, but something's better than nothing. And I'm also trying to be okay with just one book. You know me and my book stacks. I love 4 or 6 books, and that's the Longtime Read Aloud Mom, and the, you know, we started homeschooling heavy. I did Sunlight curriculum, or eventually like homemade Sunlight curriculum. So I love having multiple books going, but even if it's one book and it's 30 minutes, it's better than no book and no minutes, right? So I have many more homeschool questions coming, and homestead questions and baby questions and all that, but this page has some more homeschool questions. What curriculum do you use for homeschooling, specifically young hyper boys like mine? Well, for the energy, and we are not doing this right now in this season, but we are in our 16th year of homeschooling. I mean, so we're getting, you know, we're heading towards year 17, so pretty soon I'm going to be saying, you know, 2 decades of homeschooling. So we have had many life seasons and kiddos and configurations and age groups. So because of that, I have had many, many years, not currently, but many years, where our goal is, like, as soon as breakfast and morning jobs are going, before school starts, we are outside, we are walking, we are playing, we are jumping on the trampoline. I mean, we're getting at least an hour or so outside and burning that energy. Wear them down a little bit before we're going to sit and do things. Now, folks have different opinions on that. Some get in the routine of, you know, first thing in the morning while they're fresh, get started. And my personal experience with my particular circus of monkeys for more years than not has been to get outside in the mornings. And many times, many years, we've done it where we get the heavy core school work done after lunchtime. Now again, that's not our routine right now, but that can change. Right now, energy-wise, I've got high energy toddler, you know, Benjamin, he's almost 4, and he's just ready to go. But I have had seasons where I have had lots of toddler, young, early elementary kiddos, you know, 4 or so at a time, plus middle kids, older kids, yada yada, that just need to get out first in the morning. Now I think, of course, we're doing farm chores. I think we would love to still be able to get out, but it's not happening that way during this particular season. We are getting school going. We are having lunch somewhere in the middle of the core work. That can look different on different days as well. And then by afternoon, there might be more jobs that need to be done after core work is done, or it might just be outside for hours, tons of free time, and we'll hit the jobs. We'll do some more chores again in the evening. Just depends, again, on the day, right? So as far as a curriculum for high energy kids, I mean, the curriculum choices are deep and wide. There are many curriculums out there, but if you're dealing with lots of high energy, in my experience, we have gotten a whole lot of exercise. And I mean, I have pictures of my 17-year-old son now. I mean, he was like 6, 7 years old. After a busy morning outside, he would then lay on the trampoline with his stack of books, and he wasn't jumping, but he was doing a lot of his reading and a lot of his schoolwork laying on the trampoline. And that's part of the freedom and flexibility with homeschooling. Even this morning, Amelia was there wrapped in a farm blanket she got for her birthday with several of her stuffed animals sitting around, sitting beside her, looking like they're doing school, and her cat. Her actual cat, and she was there doing her school lessons, and she had her whole entourage with her, and she works well that way. So just, again, different kids, different times. Another question is, does it take a while to get back in the groove? yeah, it does. And I think that goes along with being gentle on yourself. And with me being gentle with myself, I just know I need time. There's going to be time towards the end, and there's going to be time after I have them, and then there's going to be time that I still need, and it's a precious thing. I don't want to rush it, and my whole thing in life is I'm going to keep moving forward and doing the best I can with what I have to work with and with the season that we're in. And so it does take time, and our groove can change and look different. I've got some different changes that I'm making. Again, not necessarily family type changes, but like work type changes and things, new things I want to try, things I want to switch up. Someone else asked, do you ever miss working as a nurse? I have not worked as a nurse in a very long time now. And so it was a gradual, that's another, gradual groove, gradual change. I had, especially back in the beginning of our homeschooling, I was just all about nursing as a career, as a profession. And I was working as a nurse even before our homeschool started. So I thought I was going to go one way with it, to continue to do all the training and all the certifications and all the degrees and all the things. There's lots of online possibilities and on-site clinicals, and I was just going to be, go that direction. And there is much that I love about the nursing profession, and I have friends that, are directors of nursing and have taken it as a career path. But, and I will say, at the same moment, nursing is a wonderful profession for mothers and schedule flexibilities and being able to also work PRN and pick up those bonus shifts and all of that, and that's one of the reasons why I went into it. We had lived with and taken care of one of my grandmothers for a very long time, so I grew up with a level of health care for a few years there. Also, in nursing school, I worked at a group home, and I'm sure to whatever extent we will be taking care of and helping take care of and being involved in the care of our parents. And then, of course, being a mom, you feel like every day you feel like a nurse, every day. And I do think a lot of my charge nurse skills, having people work under you and having a lot of people that you manage and having crisis that you manage and it's just a lot of responsibility. Well, that comes into play with all kinds of life. So no, I never am sitting here thinking, oh man, I wish I could pick up a nursing shift tonight. That does not come across my brain at all, because I know what is involved in that. I'm thankful for nursing. I'm thankful for the opportunities it gave me and for the years that I was able to serve as a nurse, and it was also allowing me to work, have a decent job, but still be home with my kids homeschooling all week, but I don't miss it. And so the Lord has taken me in a totally different direction, and anyway, we're doing different things, we're in a different groove, right? And this is a question, I've answered this a few times, and you faithful viewers can answer this with me, and then you new viewers, here you go, here's some history. Your name is so unique. Are you named after someone, or is it a combo of names? I like it. So my dad's name, say it with me through your TVs, right? My dad's name is James. My mom's name is Terrell. So my dad's name, they took the S off the end of it. So that's the Jame. And then my mom's name, they took the T-E off of it. So Jamerrill. A lot of people, when they look at it, they see the J-A-M at the front and they think jam. And then that really confuses them. But if there was a Y in there, if it was J-A-Y, or if there was a hyphen, but you pronounce it Jamerrill. Can you really tell the difference being an older mom with a newborn? What do you feel was the biggest difference having a baby in your 20s versus your 40s? So biggest difference with having a baby in my 20s and my 40s, well, I've had more experience now. And I know to an extent what's coming. I mean, each baby brings new experiences to some extent. You got different personalities, different situations. It's never necessarily like same old cookie cutter baby, cookie cutter experience, right? But I'm confident now in being a mom and handling a newborn. I know how quickly it goes. I mean, I'm here holding this baby, and my other baby He's working on his truck and has a big red beard and is walking around, you know, doing all his wonderful big things. So I know a lot more now because I've been through it with baby number 9. You know, my baby at 41 versus baby number 1, my baby at 21. One of the stories that I share is, you know, I didn't even know what the meconium was when he was born. I called the baby nursery in the hospital and they laughed at me. I've shared this story, but you know, I didn't know what that was. So I do know more what to expect, although you also have a level of, you know, baby amnesia every time. And physically, everyone, I almost feel like violently throws at me, you'll feel different, it'll be different, you're in your 40s. It hasn't felt different. It's not different. I'm still a mom and I still have a newborn, and these seasons will not last forever. I'm thankful for Tobin. I'm glad we didn't miss him, and I'm thankful for all of our children, and it's a good experience. How do you juggle a newborn with multiple kids in a homestead? I guess that kind of goes in again and again. We are a full-time 2-parent household, so that is helpful. Also, you know, I don't show my kids in every video or in videos often. I mean, I think in this video you might get to see Liam for half a second. You may not have seen Liam in a video, so I mean, he's 10 and he's, you know, growing like a weed and all those fun things, and he, you know, may not have been, I mean, maybe years since you've seen him. I think some of my old grocery hauls from like 7 years ago, there's a lot of younger kids in there and a couple of middle and bigger kids, and I think sometimes that's all people have seen, so that's all they think of when they think of my kids. My next son up, Gabriel, who's 11, is taller, several inches taller than I am. And in some of those original grocery haul videos, he's 4 or 5 years old. He's the same height and has the same mustache going on as other friends of ours who are well into their teens, middle teens, almost driving. And so I got a lot of big kids hanging out around here too. And that's another thing. I think one of the questions on my phone somewhere is, how do I handle 9 babies? I don't have 9 babies at one time. This is the only baby right now. The next up is about to be 4. Everybody else is elementary school, middle school, high school, or grown. A couple years back, I did the math. I had like 4 babies in 5 years, and it might have really been 6 years counting pregnancy time. So we've had seasons where we've had a lot of little ones. Now I feel like we have, again, a lot of middle of the road ones. Like right now we have 2, almost 3, kind of 3.5, it feels like, teenagers. But here in a few years, it's just gonna be so many teenagers at one time. And that will be the one I'm counting as 3 and 3.5 on my current teenager count. They'll be solid into their teens. And then I'll have Daniel and Amelia in their teen years, and Daniel, you know, just times change, right? So I don't have a lot of little babies. You know, everybody's potty trained, sleeping through the night besides the baby. Everybody brushes their own teeth. I mean, even Benjamin can pick out his new clothes for the day. Oh, one of the questions, I think in one of my videos somewhere, you all know, especially if I get filming, you know, there's an aspect of filming that is work for me, and depending on what I'm filming, what else I've had to do during the day, if I'm filming for a sponsor, I could be doing dinner and we may not have dinner till 7:30, because I've also been filming and explaining and chatting and doing stuff through it, right? So in one of my videos, I think it was, or maybe it was over on Instagram, somewhere in this online universe, someone was just letting me have it, that how dare my kids not get dinner until 7:30? I should be doing bath time and helping them brush their teeth and putting them in pajamas. Again, as if I had 9 babies that needed total ADL care. And that's just not the case. Anyway, we got all the ages and everybody's helpful. Everybody has age-appropriate jobs and things they do to help. Everybody gets tons of playtime and other activities and creative time, except this is all Tobin's doing right now. So several homesteading, farming / questions, such as Are you planning a garden this year? How is the farm and animals and plants this spring? Are you going to grow your veggie garden again? What are your gentle homestead plans for the spring and summer? How's your baby goat doing? Vegetable garden this year? Are you still farming? Any garden plans this year? What homestead items are put on hold for this year? You had so much going last year at this time. Anything fun happening on the homestead? How is homestead going? Are you planning a garden for this year? Last year, pandemic had started and we had all of life canceled, it seemed like, and we had just moved to this new property. So we had time to just throw ourselves into getting our hobby homestead going. And you know, some things, like I've had chickens for over a decade. We've had our dogs a long time, we've had our cats a long time. I grew up with horses and goats. So many things I've had experience with or have been around. It's not like I've never seen a goat before, not like we've never seen a horse or been around horses. My mom is a professional level horsewoman, which does not mean that I am, but we're around it and we hear it and she understands it. So a lot of the things we decided to set up last year, we got set up last year. The only thing I was thinking about last summer, and I had a cow reserved, so by last summer I was thinking we would get a cow going. However, after I think I found out I was pregnant in July, the cow we were going to have delivered in August, and it was a family that we knew. And after I found out I was pregnant, so a few weeks after that, and you know, your muscles loosen up and things do start to change. And I was pulling our chicken tractor, and I just pulled something weird in my back, and it kind of knocked me out from pulling things around and hustling around for about a week. So between twitching something in my back and knowing that I was officially pregnant with Mr. Tobin Josiah, I told those nice folks both of those things, and how, you know what, I just don't think I can take that cow this summer. And they were super wonderful, and they told me that at any time when I'm ready for a cow during a different season to please let them know, because they usually have a cow they're selling or bringing on or what have you. And when I do get a cow, I very well may get it from them. But all that to say, that was the only thing last summer that I thought we'd get going that we didn't. And so right now, because I have taken a lot of time off, I do have a lot of things work-wise, business-wise. I am a real mom, and my heart and what I focus our days as much as possible is being busy and working with my family and pouring into them and having our adventures together. But there's also, like, I'm also a working mom, and I've got ladies who work for me, and again, like, whole business operations going on here, and a newborn, and homeschool, and homesteading as far as what we already have going on. So because of the work we put forth last spring and into the summer, we have our goats, we have our rescue horse we got in October that my mom works with the kids on. We still have our dogs. They just went to the vet, had the toenails clipped, all those different things. A Great Pyrenees, and they have those dew claws, and so one of them, our male, was having trouble with one of his dew claws, so it had to have special vet care. We have our chickens. We're getting a ton of eggs every day. I have discovered duck eggs are my new favorite thing in life. I'm loving these duck eggs. We're using them in tons of baking and recipes. Just fun. Who knew? Love my duck eggs. So we did raise meat birds last year. We did butcher them. We still have some left. And so I just need to continue to work through making sure we're using up that chicken. Another thing, so I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, why I might not do anything else, and then all the things I would still like to do. Follow along, right? Where my brain was going with that is I'd still like to get into pigs at some point. So yes, futuristically, hobby homesteading hopes and dreams, would still like to get a cow, and I would still like to get, I have friends that are doing the Kuni pigs. They've done them for several seasons, and from what I've heard and read, that those are a great breed that only get to 150 or so pounds. They're just more manageable on a small homestead. So, and they have a really nice setup. One friend of mine in particular, I'd like to go over, and I've seen pictures of her setup. I want to go see it for myself, because they have a small homestead smaller homestead than we do, and they manage pigs well in a little corner of that. That's where I'll take my notes and lessons in the future whenever we get into those. But yeah, I'd like to have a cow, and I'd like to raise a couple pigs every year, and I'd like to raise 100 or so meat birds and butcher those like we butchered them last year and have them in our freezer. I mean, we've done a lot, but I'm not doing a ton of new things right now. Like I decided, as you've seen in my garden videos from last year, I've just decided for this year, and what we did started last fall. We let the chickens go in our garden a lot last fall, cleaned the garden out. And we've had several times where we rotate and let different goats or sheep go in the garden. And so, animal fertilizer. And right now I have a couple goats in there and grass is coming in. What I would like to do next, now we have all this horse manure. See, horse manure really does make all the difference. It really does. Back at the farmhouse, I would have huge gardens and a lot of little kids and barely have any time to even like throw plants in the ground. It was old fertile farm soil, as I've shared, and then our neighbor had horses, and we could go over and just get truck beds of aged horse manure and put down in the garden spot, you know. So that needs to be done here. So what I plan on doing with the garden this season is just continuing to pile various manure on it. We've already talked to our tree company. We're going to have this tree removed and yeah, just fertilize it and mulch it. Probably let a bunch of stuff grow on it. I know it can be good to just let the grass grow, let different plants grow, let them break back down. Pile tons of horse manure on it. And my horse manure so far, the horse manure that has dried out, we've been putting loads around the house. I've done this at all of my houses except for our forest house. I never got to there, but first house and our farmhouse and the forever house, I have just piled horse manure. And I grew up that way because we always had horses, so my mom always had horse manure for flower beds and gardens and all of that. So priorities, horse manure has been going around the house on the flower beds, and I still have 2.5 sides of the house that need more horse manure. So I'm not doing anything vegetable garden wise this year, putting that energy into nursing my baby and enjoying my other babies in the sunshine. We're just gonna mulch that. We're gonna manure it different times, different reasons. We'll let different animals in there. So what I'm going to focus on this summer is I love flower gardens. Again, every house I get massive flower gardens going. Like right now I'm looking at red tulips and yellow tulips and purple tulips that we planted last fall. So, and I have hostas coming back. I have things coming back from last year. I have some bushes that didn't make it. So I'm doing heavy landscaping gardens and free-spirited flower gardens all around this house. And I'm sure different places on the property. And that makes my heart happy, and that's why I'm doing that. Come midsummer, you know, my disclaimer, I can do what I want, right? I am a free human being, and I'm able to do things and follow desires and things that pop up. So I wouldn't put it past me. I mean, it very well could be midsummer at some point. I get a vision with the pigs and we get a couple pigs. Could be I'm feeling frisky in August or September, or we get a cow. So those things are still options, and they're still going to happen. They're just not happening today in April while I'm nursing the newborn baby. We have some adventures that are coming up here soon. And then, like I said, I've got so many projects and things that are in the works that I know will be taking up my time this summer. And I even mentioned in another video, you know, we might do meat birds, but I know now we don't have to do them. I don't have to order them until later this summer, and we can butcher them in October. So where last year I was getting meat birds like April, May, and June, I know now it can wait until late July or August until we even do that. So I don't have to make that decision right now. What else homesteading wise? So last year I was sharing some of our homesteading adventures, and that's not to say that I'll never share another homesteading adventure again. It's just I don't really have too much to share right now. Everything's just here looking at us, and we're enjoying them. they're enjoying us. We might do some other things later this summer, or we might not. I'm not a 100% homestead channel. I can and will share homesteading things as the inspiration strikes or as the topic comes up, if it's something that I'm doing in particular that I feel like sharing on the internet, sharing with the world. Other than that, I very well could be here doing it and just not making videos about it. When I make videos, they've got to be videos that I also feel like making. Again, just like the other week, I tried to sit down and do a Q&A and I was like, this is not working. So right now, I don't have a list of homestead videos that I want to do for you. Sorry. Doesn't mean that in a couple weeks I won't make a chicken video. So stay tuned, see what you get. So going back to look for another question, another one, will you plant potatoes again this year? You know, I don't think I'm getting to potatoes this year. It does not mean I won't do potatoes next year. But right now, yeah, not feeling it, and that's okay. But I do feel like getting this garden super fertilized. Did you set up a diaper changing station in your bedroom, or do you just roll with it? I have a video where I shared how I set up the baby's bed and diaper changing station and his clothes box and everything. I will link that in the description below. I do have a diaper changing station. That being said, I did sit here and before I started filming this video, had someone bring me a diaper, and I changed Tobin's diaper right here on my lap. So those kind of tricks, differences between, what's the difference between your first baby and your last baby? Well, I can change a baby on my lap without going to a diaper changing station, right? Did you ever really take time off from all your tasks? Work-wise, you know, online-wise, sure, because you didn't see me for a while. And home-wise, as I've shared, everything went slower, and we have helpers, and Travis is home and all of that. How was the transition to 9 babies? So again, I don't have 9 babies at one time. That was one of them. Another question, last summer you wanted a swimming pool. Did you ever get it? So yes, we ordered a pool in May. I think it was May, thinking, oh, it would be, you know, all last summer. We didn't get it until October, so it got built in October. And we've actually, you know, crazy Virginia weather. We've had days in the 80s and the 70s, and then days in the 60s. So those 70s and 80-degree days, the kids have already been swimming. That's part of what Travis worked on during the week or so after I had the baby, is they got the pool ready to go for this year. And so the pool is up. It's been swam in a lot. Next week we have at least 3 80-degree days. The rest of the days will be in the 70s. So there you go, you get a weather report. Another question, do you use any computer-based curriculum stuff for math? And I've had several folks wanting to know what homeschool curriculum we use, what our homeschool plans are for this year, and questions along those lines. Part of it is, at this point, in some respects, I hesitate to say homeschool name brands, only because I know from homeschooling going into our 17th year, I understand, and this is a good thing for homeschool moms to understand, especially if you're just starting out, that it doesn't have to always be one curriculum. You don't have to use an overall curriculum. Doesn't have to be the same curriculum year after year for your subject. It's like if you pick, I don't know, I'm gonna say XYZ math. I don't think there's an XYZ math. If you pick that in kindergarten or first grade, you have to still be with that same company by the time the kiddo is 17 or 18. Things can change, and so we've had years where we use teaching textbooks. We've used Math UC. We've used so many for different kiddos, different seasons. And through the years, I mean, there's just a long list of different curriculums we've used. We've either bought them and used them for that time and they were great. We've bought them multiple years in a row, or we bought them, got going with them, and we're like, okay, this isn't gonna work. So this year we have used a very working homeschool mom friendly curriculum. The core subjects are DVD based. There's more than one curriculum though that offers this, so that's where I'm like, I hesitate to even say the name because it's worked great for this year. At this point, I'm thinking we're going to use it next year. I could do something different by next year. You know, in August, I could look at things and I'm like, oh, I really think we're going to do this, this, and this instead. So for this year though, we have used a lot of Bob Jones on DVD curriculum. I got little DVD players for every kiddo. Now, when I say that, and this is also why I've not necessarily shared it, when I've shared that, some moms have been like, oh, Jamerrill, that's not you. You know, you can't put your kids in front of a TV screen all day and this, that, and the other. But that's not it. But I'm not going to do a lot of videos where I show what my kids are doing all day, every day, because I feel like that's their personal space. So it could be an hour to 4 hours, depending on the age of the kids, that they are working on those core subjects. And then of course they have their own reading, because just about everybody is a reader, and they have their own projects and things. And of course building log houses in the yard and farming and all those things that we're doing. Birthing a goat, you know, that was a school day. If you missed that, we had a goat birth on our farm. Anywho, the school day is more than just what curriculum I'm using for English and math. It's a whole lifestyle around it. So I look for curriculum that will be a tool for me to use, that will help me with my children and managing some of the questions, you know, the different ages, different subjects. And it was sure helpful with pregnancy and energy levels. And like even when we had that time where I was in the hospital unexpectedly in January, it's helpful with two parents that are home full time. You know, before, because I'm a very hands-on homeschooling mama, and I know what's going on. I know the things I want to accomplish with the kids. I know what the kids are doing. But then if I have to pass that baton off to Travis and say, go on a business trip for a week, which has happened in the past, it's just hard to hand everything over and for him to follow along with everything that we're doing. So this particular curriculum, using it for our core subjects, has been helpful, because just like when I was in the hospital and I had several weeks of recovery for that, even if I'm sitting on the couch or if I'm not there and it's Travis, the kids with the daily direction that they need to get going can get their schoolwork out and get going and watch the lesson and do their assignments, ask questions they're supposed to ask questions if they need help. It has been helpful and for our lifestyle and with the ages and all the plates that we're spinning, especially this past year. So I say, whatever homeschool curriculum you need, that's a curriculum you should get. And it may not be what everyone else is doing, and it may not be, that was kind of the weirdest part for me, it may not be what people tell you that they think you need, but it may be what the kind of help you feel like you need. Just like years ago, I was looking heavily into classical conversations. I really thought that would be a good fit for us. But then when I got into running the distance from where we lived at the time to where the meetings would be, the running and the other legwork and such involved, after much research, I was like, okay, this is not a good fit for us. And at the same time, I was looking into some curriculums similar to like the one we used this year. And I kept thinking, man, that's so dry and so boring. That's not the kind of homeschool I want. I want to read to my kids and, you know, do the watercolor pictures and do the nature walks and do the documentaries. Well, guess what? We still get to do all that. It's just, I have some more help. Yay. Oh, so the questions go along with, how do you time manage everything? How do you do it all? How in the world do you have enough energy to get it all done? You are superwoman. Can you talk a little bit about your homeschool schedule? So for me, this year, implementing a curriculum that I was thinking would be helpful for me for a while. And I researched it, and I even at homeschool conventions had looked at it and talked to the vendors and stuff. I'm like, this year, I'm glad we took the chance and tried it out. And like I said, I'm thinking next year I'd like to do that again for our core subjects. To me, as a homeschool mom, it's just another wonderful tool in my homeschool mom toolbox. And I don't believe that there's any one way or right way for all children's education and for all homeschooling. You have to be flexible and willing to try new things. So I'm glad we did. Yeah. Oh, so back to the how do you do it all type questions. Well, of course, Travis and I are a team. So there's that. We talk out our day, usually the night before, if not the morning of. I get my whiteboard out and I fill the day out for myself on the whiteboard. As far as, it's kind of like a running to-do list. We have a calendar in the kitchen, and we're flexible and we're gentle. And we've really made a lot of life choices and lifestyle choices to live the life we want to live. So we enjoy that. Another question, how has your recovery been with Tobin versus other kiddos? I've had some neck issues over the years. And so after Benjamin, I definitely had to get to the chiropractor for adjustments for my neck after. And then for Tobin, I knew I would need to go back with my neck. I just knew there would be an appointment. He was born on a Saturday, so I'm like, oh, by Monday I had no pain. Where with Benjamin, I felt my neck pop during delivery. And within 24 hours, I was like, must get in the chiropractor. With Tobin, he was born on a Saturday, did not feel my neck pop, but we were into the chiropractor by Monday or Tuesday. This time, something that happened different is, the way my chiropractor worded is, my tailbone was twisted. So I was having some of that fun electric up my back. I woke up a few times with just, you know, electric spasms in my back. So we got that worked out with several adjustments over those first 2 weeks. So that was different, but totally normal, to be expected. Some women have that after their first delivery or their fourth delivery. I just was dealing with that in my back after my 9th. How do you teach your babies to sleep once they're a bit older? So I don't teach sleep, but at some point we start to transition. Like when Tobin's 6 months old, you know, right now he can sleep on me, or I'm holding him, or he has sat in that little seat, infant, newborn, vibrating chair. And then when we go out places, you know, he's in his car seat. But at some point here in the near future, and this is where my motherhood amnesia kicks in, but at some point he'll start taking more like a nap or naps in his little bed. Eventually he'll be napping in there. Eventually he'll sleep more of the night or part of the night in his little bed. And then eventually down the road he'll transition to a whole new bed in a whole new area. But we don't have to do that today. So it's just, I never try to do it at one time overnight, like this baby sleeps on me and nurses on demand, and now the next night I would just put him in a crib all night. So it's always a slow and gentle process over time. One mama says, what about homeschooling while moving? Well, when you're moving, that is homeschooling for that time that it takes you to transition and get settled. But that's learning and educational too. Will you be doing a beginning of the year homeschool haul? I always love those. I don't know, I didn't do one last year just because that was pregnancy time, summertime. Hurt that shoulder, lower back a little bit. Not lower back like where I was referring to the pain in reference to having Tobin, but it was something in my shoulder there. So I don't know that I'll get that done this summer, but it can be on the list. We'll see how it all works out, right? How are you and Tobin settling into your routine together? I think we're settling in nicely. Does Tobin cry a lot? Nope. I fix him just like how I'm fixing him now. He just wants to eat, or he wants a clean diaper. Like I say, sometimes he likes to wait till he has a clean diaper, and then he's like, oh, this is fixed. Let me make it how I like it again. Then I change him, then he's good again. How do you get homeschool done with the farm responsibilities? Again, our biggest time farming, again, is in the morning. Because we're not doing full-time farming content, I'm not sharing farming content as part of what I'm sharing full-time. I'm not making videos about it. The way we have our animals set up now with what is currently going on, you know, the most work is in the mornings, a little bit of work in the evenings, and then now in the summer there'll be more of a midday check-in as far as water, depending on heat and such. Also, our whole farmyard is right behind our house. I can look out my kitchen window, see the animals at any time. I mean, earlier today, kids were in with the goats, playing with the goats. The baby goat, Miss Nutmeg, is doing fine, by the way. The animals get, you know, played with and exercised throughout the day. Naomi has a routine that she does with the horse in the morning and in the middle of the day and in the evening. And then, of course, when my mom comes, and she'll be here for long periods of time, and then, oh, big yawn. And then there's lots of horse things that go on throughout the day with that. Another question is, did I take an epidural? I did not. Tobin was my 3rd natural birth, so that's 3 babies with no epidural, but I had epidurals with my first 6 babies, and those were also absolutely wonderful and fantastic. Usually I would get my epidural and take a nap and then have a baby. It was just how it was supposed to work. What is your favorite brand of diapers? So I always go for the cheapest, frugalist route that I can. I get the store brand, like store brand Walmart. I think it's Parents' Choice. Or if we're at Target, it's whatever the Target brand is. Lots of folks gave us a bunch of size 1 and size 2 diapers. I haven't bought diapers yet with Tobin. And then I had 2 babies. So for Gabriel and Liam, I cloth diapered those years with them all the way through potty training. So it's just about whatever I have access to. I do not have a more expensive brand that I'm a brand loyalist of that I would have to have, or my kids have not had reactions. I know there's reasons for them, or some people have told me they can't use the Walmart ones with just they leak for their kids, or different ones break their kids out, and so they've had to go for certain brands. So because I haven't had those experiences, I usually just get the big bulk boxes at Walmart. The diapers at Costco are not cheaper. They're cheaper when I buy the big boxes at Walmart, the cost per diaper and such. Another question, how do you have so much energy? What specific things do you think help that? So energy wise, I sleep at night. I have to sleep to function. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I drink water, I take vitamins. I love to walk. So I think that those things come into play. And then another question is, do I get any time alone with my husband? Like, do we get any dinner out or anything like that? So we love to go to Lowe's and go to Cracker Barrel. So that's been our date location here lately. My mom was here for a couple weeks before. I didn't even mention all of that when we talk about help and breaks and such. I have had babies where my husband was gone working all the time and I didn't have any other family around or what have you. And then I've had babies where my mom's been able to come, or other folks have been able to come, or Travis has been home. And so it's just, again, different seasons. I'm old, I've done a lot, right? My mom was here a couple weeks before Tobin was born, and she did have to go home for a couple days, and then she came back for like 10 more days. And that's super helpful. She takes the kids, they do more things with the horse, and they just do fun grandmother things around. And again, it's not like she has 8 babies that she's caring for, so I can sit on the couch and nurse my 9th baby. And then we also have other adult folks in life. Travis and I, we like to, that's our thing right now. So far for 2021, it has been Lowe's and Cracker Barrel. We also go to Sheets, go on drives and have talks and all of those things. And even though he's home full time, that we have busy lives. Like while I have filmed this video, he has had Benjamin and they've been riding around doing things this whole time. So at least for this afternoon segment. So even when you have 2 parents home full time, it can get busy, and we still might not have time to talk unless we make that time in the evening or in the morning, and then that's where we go through our day and our plans. Yes, sir, Mr. Tobin. So thank you all so much for watching this Q&A. I know I did not get to all of them, but I've talked for hours. Yes, I have. Feel like we watch the sun come up and go down. Right, Tobin? Yes, yes. Let's see if I can hold my baby up here a little bit for you to see. Huh? And he's looking red-headed, looking golden, looking like your own person, and then at different times looking like everybody else. I like to do this running commentary with him, kind of like Tobin is. Oh, you got to burp now. You did that last time too, right? Tobin is a 37-year-old man, and he's got big feelings about his truck. Oh, big feelings about the truck. Yeah, but now you're hiccuping. So I make babies talk. I do baby voices. I guess we won't do yours right now because you're going to hiccup. So it was great, though, being able to sit and chat with you. Okay, we're having major hiccups now. It's very important. So we're going to deal with this. Sorry I didn't get to any more questions, but we did what we could. Go team go. See you real soon with another brand new video. Bye-bye.